It may be because you don't trust yourself. See, it's a lot easier to trust other people when you trust yourself, because a lot of us are going to project the way we feel about ourselves onto other people. And if you can't trust yourself, it's going to be very difficult to trust other people because you're not going to have that confidence in yourself to rely on yourself and to get yourself through tough situations. So how are you going to have that confidence in other people if you can't even find it within yourself? It's kind of like how it's really difficult to love other people if you don't fully love yourself. Because in a lot of cases, in those situations, people's love is going to be very needy and kind of codependent. But if you fully love yourself, that frees you to love other people in a way where you actually will set them free rather than trying to put them in a cage and keep them all bottled up for yourself. So this concept plays out with trust as well. It is so much easier to put trust in other people when you trust yourself, because then you'll end up in situations where even if someone does something that makes you lose trust in them, you're going to rely on your own ability to handle that situation and to get yourself out of there and to know that that person is no longer worthy of being trusted. But if you don't trust yourself, you won't trust your ability to help yourself out of these situations. You'll feel that if somebody breaks your trust, that things are just ruined completely and you're not going to know how to work through that because you're not going to trust in your own ability to get yourself out of that situation, or through it, should I say. And if you don't trust yourself, you can end up in situations where you put your trust in the wrong person, they end up breaking it, and yet you still trust them afterwards. You still try to rely on them and fix things with them. But that's not what anyone who truly trusts themselves will ever do. They know that as soon as somebody's broken their trust, that that person is no longer worthy of receiving their trust anymore. Because that's the way things usually are. People, the way you should think about trust is you should be able to freely give your trust to other people, but as soon as they lose it, you should make them work incredibly hard to gain it back. That's the way things are normally. You don't want to end up in this situation where you don't give your trust to anyone and you want them to earn it from the beginning, because nobody wants to be put in that situation. And it also will make you kind of keep people at arm's length, which will scare away high quality people. So you want to be able to trust yourself so that you can freely trust others and then rely on yourself to handle situations where you put your trust in the wrong person. Because you can help yourself through those situations. Yeah, you can end up getting hurt in some of them, but you'll know that you'll be able to work through that and end up becoming happier eventually. Another interesting thing that happens when people don't trust themselves, or more an explanation as to why some people get to this place where they don't trust themselves, is because they have a history of choosing partners who are bad for them. And yeah, at some point you do need to realize if you have a history like that, you are partly to blame, because you will choose who to enter into relationships with, right? Nobody forces you. Nobody holds you at gunpoint and tells you to get into relationships with specific people. That's all your own choice. So if you have a history of choosing bad partners, then that could lead to a situation where you no longer trust in your ability to choose good partners. And that is warranted in some cases because, yeah, if that's what your history suggests, then you have been making poor decisions for yourself. So this could also lead to you no longer trusting yourself. And for that reason, I want to talk about how you can start to build trust in yourself, because it's such an important skill to have, and you really want to get to that place where you can freely trust people and then wait for them to do something that makes you lose trust in them rather than distrusting everyone from the beginning, because that's just not a healthy place to be. So to work on building trust in yourself, it's all about doing things that allow you to rely on yourself and to develop that trust in your ability to handle specific situations or to even pull yourself out of tough places. So that's all about taking risks, doing things that scare you, challenging yourself. But I would suggest you start in small ways so you can build up your self-confidence and build up that trust in yourself. You don't want to immediately go to the your biggest fear and try to tackle that right away. It'll help you build that trust in yourself, but it'll also be very scary for you at first. So I wouldn't suggest that. Definitely work up in small ways. So just take small risks here or there. Do one tiny thing every day that makes you somewhat hesitant. I wouldn't say necessarily something that scares you per se, but just something that you normally would be kind of hesitant to do because you wouldn't be all too sure of your ability to handle it. So just start doing those things. Start doing those things that force you to build that confidence in yourself and that test your ability to handle tough situations, to start gaining new skills and developing confidence and self-reliance. And that's all from just doing things that allow you to build that trust in yourself. It's a very powerful thing. So start creating this practice, this habit in your own life. Just think of small things that you can do on a daily basis that will allow you to become more confident and self-reliant, and do them as often as possible. That will really help you build self-trust. So I hope this video has made you see the importance of being able to trust yourself, because it really is one of the foundations of creating healthy relationships. If you can't trust yourself, it's very difficult to trust other people. But if you don't trust other people from the beginning, you will scare away high-quality people. And we all should have the goal of attracting high-quality partners, because they make the best partners for relationships, and they're basically the only people you should enter into long-term relationships with and marry. You don't want to be marrying or entering long-term relationships with people who aren't high quality, because that's usually where you end up getting hurt and you get cheated on, and basically low-quality people are the ones who aren't usually deserving of trust. But if you get to a place where you trust yourself, you'll still be able to trust them. You'll just know that as soon as they do something that warrants losing trust, you'll immediately stop trusting them. You won't give them more chances. You're just going to say, hey, this is the way this person is. I accept that, and I'll move on and trust myself and my ability to create an awesome future for myself. Anyway, I feel like I've been rambling for long enough, and I hope I explained this well, because this is kind of a trickier topic to cover. My last attempt was not great, so I'm hoping this one I explained it a lot better. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!